In my early days as a product photographer, I could not understand why all of my images looked so flat. I would move my lights around left, right, front, back. I would even move my camera angle around, and still nothing seemed to help the way my images were looking. And after doing some research and experimenting, I came to realize that the issue I was having was not a technical issue at all. It was actually a styling issue. I'd have all of my products, all of the ingredients squished together in one spot, which made the image look flat. There was no depth, there was no dimension, it was just everything on one plane of field. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 5 different styling tips to add depth to your images.
The very first thing is to try to avoid shooting straight on. Unless it's intentional, shots can actually make your images look a little flat and dull. If you're trying to go for a variety of styles and you really want your image to pop off of the screen, I would try moving your camera to a different angle. You can even move it up, you can move it lower. Remember, your camera can move as well as your lighting, which leads me to the second thing that we do. I used to light all of my images from the front straight on, but this actually cuts back on some of the shadows and you lose a lot of depth and dimension in your images. So instead, try moving your harsh light behind your products, and then on the front side, opt for a light with a diffuser, or you could even put just a whiteboard up to help bounce some light back into the image. Here I have a light with a diffuser coming from the top to mimic a bathroom light, and then our hard light is coming from the back side, which is creating these really elegant shadows. And what's cool is when your shadows are being cast in front of your product, it actually makes your product look more three-dimensional and it separates it from the backdrop a lot more. Now this doesn't always work with every single image, so always test your lighting and play around to make sure you're getting the exact effect that you want. The third thing that I do is I add objects just for the shadow. So for example, we have this green face right here that's casting a really cool stained glass look onto this tile behind me. Not only is it adding a really nice pop, but it's almost making the tile look more three-dimensional because it kind of has this glassy glow to it. It catches your eye because it's not too common and it's just the right amount of artsy to make an image fun, engaging, but still have that professional and high-end look. The fourth thing that I do has to go along with product placement. Instead of just having both products positioned the same way or having them too close to each other, I like to separate them and have them laying at different angles to really draw the attention throughout the whole image instead of just in the center of the frame. Sometimes I'll even crop part of one of them out to just make the image that much more interesting. Here we have one facing up and one facing this way. So not only are we seeing this elongated handle and getting a good idea of what that looks like, we also have the blades right here with the light bouncing off of it so we can see that detail on the product as well. So if there are multiple parts of a product that you want to showcase, having more than one piece in the frame not only brings more interest to your image, but you can highlight different parts on each one and really make a comprehensive shot.
I wanted to pop in and ask you, have you found any value so far in this video? If so, go ahead and give it a giant thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Now, let's get back to the video.
And now the last thing that I do is add something in the foreground, something in the front that's going to be blurred, so it makes you feel like you're looking through something to see the image. I don't do this too often because it can easily be overplayed, but in the right setting and the right environment, it is really cool to do. And what I love about this shot in particular is that we have 2 different ingredients that we need featured, and instead of just shoving them in the shot around the product, we've spread them out to make the image feel more pulled apart. While it does look nice to have products surrounded by ingredients, it can make your images a bit too noisy and hard to understand. When someone's scrolling, they need to be able to see what it is within the first 3 seconds that the brand is selling. So you always want to make sure that the product is the focal point. So here's what our image looks like before, and here's what it looks like after implementing these 5 depth tricks.
If you're interested in learning more about lighting, editing, camera gear, equipment, behind the scenes, all of the juicy goodness, then I'd recommend clicking that link down below to check out our creator community, where we post exclusive videos taking you behind the scenes on our real sets and walking you through how we do everything start to finish. But if you're gonna stick around on YouTube for a bit, then I would recommend watching this video next.